thanks for getting up so early and trying to hear some news about MadeToTag. And so I wanted to ask what your current knowledge of MadeToTag is. So I think I don't need to ask you to explain MadeToTag, but are you familiar with MadeToTag?
Little bit.
Yeah. But I will just run through our 7 steps in MadeToTag. So just to get you back all on the same track, and then explaining the news in MadeToTag, and at the end I also will show some differences, what we make different than InDesign itself, so why you should use MadeToTag. So in general we have our MadeToTag, which is for InDesign, CS6 to CC, and it just helps you to create and prepare your InDesign file for tag PDF. But that's, as I said, we have 7 tasks to do that. And so the first one is defining and reviewing the export tags. So you can define which paragraph has what semantic. So it's just a plain paragraph, it's a list, it's a heading, and so on. So we just define that in MadeToTag, and we added keyboard shortcuts, so you can be really quick with that. So just hit alternate key and 1 to tag the current paragraph as in heading number 1. And you just go through your document. We have a color highlighting, and the color highlighting helps you to just see where you have to go in and do stuff on what we have, on what you have already done. Second one is putting it into the content order. So which paragraph, which image comes in which order in the reading order of the document. Again, you can use keyboard shortcuts for that, so being faster to do that. Third task is all about the images, so setting alternate text and review the alternate text. So you just choose all your images and provide a good alternate text. So a non-visual person can have like a description of the image. Fourth task is review document metadata, which is actually only a copy of the InDesign dialog, but PDF UA requires you to have a title, a document title, and it's if you're working with templates or copying documents from other sources, you may not have the correct title. So we just put it here to being in the flow of generating. Fifth task is language. So again, using keyboard shortcuts, using color highlighting, you can have a direct visual proof of what languages are available in your document. The sixth and last preparation task is the table structure. So you can define which table has what kind of header, child cell combination. So InDesign only lets you have a header row, but that's just very plain table. And in MadeToTag you can also set quick headers, which is table row headers and table column headers. So you have like, I don't know, like in a calendar, you have, you see it here, the green one is Gemeinschaftsschule, so school and language, and you have your data for that, both elements. And we also have a smart header mode where you can directly say this cell is a header for that cell, and that cell is a header for that cell. So you can be very complex tables and tag them accordingly. And MadeToTag will put that into the actual PDF file. So you don't need to go into the into Acrobat and put your own cell IDs and headers and move that around. So you have a very nice UI for that. Okay, so, and the last is, of course, creating a tag PDF. So PDF UA is the standard for universal accessibility. And even if you prepare your document with MadeToTag, and you have the perfectly prepared InDesign file, if you export with InDesign, you won't get a tag PDF. There will always be issues in that file. So just try it out. Run it through Colors PDF A palette, for example, or PDF accessibility checker, and you always will have issues. And that's why you always should use MadeToTag task 7. Because we not only export the file, but we also fix issues InDesign has, and we also enhance the PDF file with tables, and other stuff we do. And I come to that later in the presentation. And so if you export with MadeToTag, you will get a PDF UA file. So that's why you should use MadeToTag task number 7. So it's the most important task if you want. Right. So that's for the general knowledge. And I'm coming to the new things in MadeToTag. So let's talk about that. InDesign released a new CC 2019 version just recently, and we of course also support that. So we have a new MadeToTag available for CC 2019. And just as a reminder, if you have, so InDesign, each InDesign CC version is a new application. So you need a new installer, you need a new license key, also for MadeToTag. It's badly done, and so Adobe does a bad job because you just get a notification there's a new CC version, and then okay, install, and then it deletes the CC 2018, installs the 2019, and everyone is complaining, where's my MadeToTag? And just because it removed the old stuff and installed complete new stuff, and it's badly done, but that's just for you to know. If there's an update information in your Creative Cloud, have a look at it. And if it's a new CC 2019 or 2020 or whatever will come afterwards, be prepared. And there's an option to keep your old versions, but you need to enable that. But MadeToTag is available for CC 2019. And one of the new features in InDesign CC 2019 is Endnotes, and which are kind of footnotes, but at the end of the document. InDesign CC 2019 also supports footnotes and tables. And just as a side note, we do support that as well. So we have our footnote linking, and that also works with footnotes and table cells. So nothing to do for us, but just as a reminder. And the EndNote feature was, asked very often by customers, and now InDesign supports that, but in regards of tag PDF, they do a bad job, because they introduce the EndNotes as EndNote tag. And there's no such tag in the PDF specification. So you don't get a valid PDF UA file if you use EndNotes, because you will end with EndNote, and there's no such EndNote. But we have MadeToTag, and we fix that. So if you work with EndNotes, use MadeToTag, and we will fix the EndNote to a note, because it's actually a note. And if you just want to see on the left side, I have the example of how it would look like in InDesign. So you have just P, and the MadeToTag, you actually have a node. So you get that example. So that is the output of PDF Go HTML, which will convert your tag PDF into HTML for better visibility of the order of the tags. So I didn't use the InDesign, the Acrobat tag panel. I'm just using HTML for better visibility. So again, with MadeToTag, you get a valid file. Right. Let's come to some real news, some new feature that are new export tags. So we try to get you to a better semantic document. So imagine you have like tables where you have like a caption above or at the bottom, or lists with captions. And in the earlier versions, you would just have set them as P, as plain paragraph, which is not wrong, but it's not a rich semantic. So we got asked if we could like handle that, and we actually do. So we have new export tags in MadeToTag, which are Caption, BlockQuote, and Index. They are just not available in InDesign. There's some workaround where you can set a caption, but it's very, very, very limited. So that's why we included that, and we just included it in task number 1. So where you have set this paragraph is an H1, this paragraph is a plain paragraph. We just added the caption and index, BlockQuote, and actually for caption we have some more detailed information, and I come to that later on. So you don't need to remember new stuff, or you don't need to learn new stuff. You just have, it's in your workflow. It's just added where you would expect it, and as it is exactly there, you can also use keyboard shortcuts for that. So setting as caption would be just, instead of hitting Alt, alternate key 7, would be alternate key and C, for example. So just, yeah, it's just in the workflow. You can just use it. You don't need to really learn something new. And how do we do that? We don't break the InDesign document, we just use InDesign functionality. And apparently InDesign has a hidden field, which we can just use, and it will just work. It will export to IDML, so if you export to IDML and going back to another InDesign version, still the caption is there. So the information that paragraph is caption will still be there. If you don't have MadeToTag, it will just be seen as a P, as just a plain paragraph. So just as it would be before. So it's just a nice add-on. And as you may know, we use the InDesign export for creating the tag PDF. So InDesign will export that as a P, as a paragraph, and we then post-process that paragraph to be a caption. And we also group, so if you have multiple caption paragraphs, just after each other, we will group that together. Same applies for BlockQuote and Index. So, and additionally, if you have the caption for tables or lists, we also move that caption inside the list or inside the table. So it's actually content of the table. You will see that later.
So what you're saying is that you always have a paragraph inside the caption?
Yes.
Even if it's just one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not required by PDFUA, but it's recommended.
Yes, it is.
It is? Okay. Even better. We just do that. So, for example, I had my paragraph, so I had 3 paragraphs here, one after another. Each has been labeled as BlockQuote, and we then combine them into one BlockQuote tag, and each paragraph is then a P paragraph inside that BlockQuote. So we just can use that way. So the keyboard shortcut would be alternate key B, which is easy to remember, I think. Then for caption, we do the same. We just put the paragraph inside the caption tag. If you have multiple captions, one after another, you group them again and have them in one caption key. And you have the in MadeToTag, that's caption. And caption is in that case for figures and figures. In the end, it's for figures. Then we have captions for lists at top. That's an entry in the paragraph style dialog. And you choose that if you have a caption above a list, which is part of, or which should become part of the list. So actually it's caption for a list, and this caption is at the top of the list. And as you see, we then put it directly into the list. So it's not in front of the list, it's in the list. It's where it should be. For tables, we have two options. We have one option which is caption for a table, where the caption is at the top of the table. So we move it as, and we create it as the first item of the table. And we have caption for tables, where the caption is at the bottom of the table. So you need to choose that when creating your export tags in MadeToTag. And same applies for index, so you can choose an index. In this case, it's an index list, and I'm thinking it needs to be changed somehow that it's the list is inside the index, but that's the current working version, and it's not wrong, but you might enhance the meaning in later stages. So, everything clear so far with captions and what to use it for? Any remarks? Okay. Actually, that was the new feature in MadeToTag, and that was the only new feature we have in the last year. Which does not mean that we did not, or that we did slowly on MadeToTag, but we did a lot of bug fixing. We learned that creators can be very creative with InDesign documents, and they can do things in InDesign which we would just not have expected. So they put like extra long paragraph style names with very special characters. They use, I don't know, special, like, very complex tables. They use, they anchor frames in different ways and very special. And InDesign does also have bugs when it comes to anchoring, so anchoring frames. And if you unanchor the frames, they just move. And that's bad when we use our reshuffle anchor frames. So we've done a lot of bug fixing. I think we had 6 or 7 versions in the last year, so let's see, even if we have 6 new versions, but no new feature, or just one new feature, but we had a lot of bug fixes and also, using it in a more reliable way. Okay, so that's about the news. I will now come to the differences between MadeToTag and InDesign. So one, for example, is a table of contents. If you export a table of content in InDesign CS6, which is pretty old, but you won't have a table of content. So you just have a list of links and paragraphs. In InDesign CC 2014 or so, up to InDesign CC 2019, you will have an actual table of content, but even it's just a plain table of content, so you have no real structure in that. Just have every heading is the same level in InDesign. And with MadeToTag, you have a more rich, more valuable table of content, because you have the different levels of the headers. So heading level number 1, heading level number 2. You can see that in the top structure. So it's the value for the screen reader is just having a better overview about what's the structure of the document. And again, or not again, but also we use the InDesign table of content feature. So if you created your InDesign file with a table of content in InDesign, we will fix the output in that way. Right. Also, I spoke about the anchored frames. Again, InDesign CS6 does a very bad job. I don't know if you can see it. I have my section paragraph. That's the anchored frame. And the anchored frame actually has a structure. It has a title and 2 paragraphs in it. But in CS6, it's just a section, no semantic, just plain text one after another. So InDesign CC 2017, 18, they fixed that. So you see in the middle, you see the SS structure. So you have a heading, first act, and you have 2 paragraphs. And InDesign is putting it just where it is. So if you can read the sentence, it just split up. So it's telling you it's a tragedy by William Shakespeare, first act, to be or not to be, Hamlet, at an uncertain date. So it's like, it's in the middle of, so it breaks sentences. And what we actually do is we move the content of the anchored frame and move it at the end of the paragraph, and we also put it into the same structure. So InDesign does not do it wrong now, it does it different. So just that you know, you can choose optimize, reshuffle anchored frames in MadeToTag. Then you will get the right output. And if you use InDesign nowadays, you will get the output in the middle. So it's not wrong in a like PDF UA standard way, but it's different. And just that you know, you can choose. So we think our approach is the better one, but actually, I'm at the end of the presentation. I just want to keep in mind for you that doing export with MadeToTag, because else you don't get a great PDF UA file, or you don't get a PDF UA file. Because we use the InDesign export, so we use the InDesign interactive PDF export, but then fixing the PDF using Colors PDF Toolbox technology, using our own technology, and yeah, just to get in good PDF at the end. So if you want to download it, it's available at our download page.